welcome back, and another Happy New Year. It's another edition of the Jagged Edge. Ian here along with Chris.
Happy New Year.
Hey, fresh right at the top of 2018, waiting for some awesome films to drop. Plenty of stuff waiting to blow up here. Looks like we're off to a pretty good start already.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked a little bit about Netflix last week. I still didn't watch Bright, by the way.
Oh my gosh, I didn't. Were all about this.
I know, and now I'm by. Let's tell you what. Let's just not let this become a Last of Us thing again.
That's right.
as long as it doesn't do that, I think I'm safe. But yeah, there's the Netflix releases. Still trying to keep the thumb pulse on gaming, and as always, we've got a little bit of extra news on DC, Marvel, and all that good stuff that's going around.
DC news. Yeah, I wonder how much longer we're even going to be doing that, but this seems kind of relevant, so.
Yeah, my hope as they find their stride, that we stop going between DCEU, not DCU, DCU, not DCU, producers out, producers in, and we just level out. They can tell a good solo story. We've seen it. So, whatever they choose.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Nah.
All right. So yeah, just a couple quick things. I'll do these. First two things real quick. Bright. Netflix movie. Will Smith. Lots of fun. That got renewed for a sequel. So we're gonna get a sequel for that. David Ayers is going to be directing it again.
Cool.
He's going to be writing it this time. I think he had a hand in writing the first one, but there was a different writer for that. But so we're gonna get a sequel. So you've got some time though, sir.
Not like I said, not too much time. But
no,
time.
You should watch it soon. Don't be that guy who's going to want to talk to me about that movie 9 months from now.
Or the guy who didn't see Voltron. Longest.
That's right. Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, whatever about Voltron now. We're done with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the thing. That's fun. That's good. I'm happy to hear that. That was a big outing for Netflix to do a movie of that size and caliber. They're saying that the first weekend for Bright came out to about an estimate of what would be a $100 million release for a theatrical release of a movie, which is pretty good. I think it cost them $93 million to make, but it's going to get plenty of viewings from here on out. So it's been a success for them, so that's good. So what I'm not too keen on is that this week it was announced that The Gifted got renewed for season 2. I'm shocked by that because this show's a freaking dumpster fire. But the season 2, I mean, you take that with a grain of salt because whatever Disney is going to do with the X-Men brand has not even come out yet. So. Who knows what's going to happen? But at least they're kind of going with the flow on this right now as well. They should. They just acquired a lot of different things, so they've probably they've got their hands full right now. So Gifted renewed for season 2. Now you watched the first episode, right?
Yeah, I did.
And you haven't watched since?
No, couldn't. It just didn't hit. Didn't strike that chord with me.
No, it's trash.
Yeah.
And most of what I see from people commenting on these things on social media is that they started watching it and they don't watch it anymore. But apparently somebody's hung on. I hear a lot of people say that it is the most comic accurate of your TV and movie X-Men media. That I find that a little shocking, but whatever. That's not even. I don't even think that would save it for me. It's just. Yeah, I mean, it's angstier than your typical CW superhero shows. It's just so it's kind of funny because I'm not a huge fan of a lot of the X-Men comics. When I go to the comic book store and people are talking about X-Men, they ask me what I think. I'm just like, hey, I don't read it. It's too much. It's too much drama for me. It's too much unnecessary drama. It's too much angsty drama. I can't deal with it. I mean, how many times is Jean Grey going to die? And stuff like this. It's all just so repetitive and so much. It's cool that Wolverine's back.
Yeah,
that's something kind of new and original. I'm excited to see where Marvel goes with that. But he kind of he definitely supersedes the X-Men titles as a whole. So if needed,
Yeah.
So Gifted season 2. If you're a Gifted fan, please comment and tell us why. I would like to
Yeah.
understand. Um, but season 2 for Gifted.
Yay.
Yay!
One of the X-Men directions that I'm hoping at some point we see from Disney. Now this is what I used to really enjoy in the comics. I don't know if they'll try this directly, but it was some of the break off stories for some of the single characters that were really great. I know when uh, Wolverine and I think it was Wolverine and Gambit, or was it just Gambit? Phalanx. I don't know if you ever read that arc.
Nope.
That was really good, and I really got into that. And that didn't involve the whole school. Charles Xavier wasn't in it. Cyclops wasn't in it. Nightcrawler, Beast, none of them. But just taking a moment to take aside a couple of major characters and then focus out of a chapter someone they knew in their past or something that was important to their backstory and developing an arc out of that. I used to really like those because there was a point for me at least just reading X-Men where it felt like things were so far out of sorts, at least for whatever we were pursuing or time period we were jumping to, or whatever craziness was happening, that I sort of lost track of the foundations of the series, and it was those little side arcs that always got me back on track. So I don't know. And heck, I'm talking about him now, Gambit. I would love to see Gambit featured more. He was one of my favorites, and just one I don't see played up a whole lot.
Well, apparently that movie still exists. It's still in pre-production with Channing Tatum as Gambit. So
Wow.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think we'll ever see it, but
No.
the studio says, yeah, no, we're still doing that. All right, whatever.
Well, there's sometimes it can get passed from hand to hand. I mean, I'm take a gaming example of something I always talk about. They've been talking about Streets of Rage 4 for years, since like the 90s. That never happened. It's been passed through I don't know how many devs now, and for whatever reason or another, it just keeps getting shut down. So, oh well.
Yeah.
One fine day. One fine day.
Yeah, maybe.
Another awesome trailer. Now you showed me this, and you pointed my attention to it because I didn't see the old films for this. Death Wish.
Death Wish.
Yeah, second trailer hit. Bruce Willis.
Yeah, so we have not talked about our list of movies for this year, what we're looking forward to and such, but we have talked about it. We haven't talked about it on the show, but Ian and I have talked about it, and we did that last week, and going through the list was Death Wish, and I made sure to point that out. I'm like, look, I don't care if none of you want to see this with me. I'm seeing this movie. I'm reviewing this movie. It's too much of my childhood. They're just... The old Death Wish movies were just horrible. They were great in every horrible way. So you got a remake here with Bruce Willis, and the first trailer was fine, but it was nothing to bring up. But I wanted to bring up the second one that just dropped. There's some controversy going around with this movie now. But let me just say real quick, because I just didn't notice it. Maybe she wasn't in the first one, but the character that Bruce Willis plays, whose name I can't think of right now, his wife is played by Elizabeth Shue.
Really?
Did you not notice that?
No.
I mean, oh my God, so much nostalgia. I mean, I saw her in there. I'm like, that even beyond Carrie Fisher when I was a child. That was
yeah,
right there. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. I just didn't pick up on that. She if you kept up with CSI, I know you probably don't. I think she's on that.
I know.
Right.
I don't keep up with CSI. But, I've seen her pop up on things from time to time. But it was just I saw her and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. It's perfect nostalgia right there. This movie looks absolutely great. We were talking a little bit about this and why I wanted to bring it up this week or bring it up at all in the show was because there's been some controversy about this. I mean, it's kind of funny. We're talking about this movie, which almost now, what would normally be a kind of a controversial story, as it was back then, back in the 70s and 80s, was way too violent. There was a lot of people talking about. I think some original cuts of the first one was looking at X-rated. It was huge controversies around the original Death Wish movies, the first couple ones, anyways. Nowadays, this trailer that I watched, especially the second one, just feels like this is almost superhero-esque in how how it's coming out, it's almost a little shocking to me that it's just kind of out there now, and it's not even getting a lot of publicity. I mean,
Right.
this is not a AAA movie. It's got Bruce Willis, but Bruce Willis is at the point in his career where he can do whatever he wants,
Yeah.
and which I love because he does. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
he's in Death Wish, 5, 6 years ago? He was in G.I. Joe. Why? Because he's Bruce
Bruce
Willis, and he
Willis.
can be. He's allowed to do that. So I love it when actors are, or actresses are at that point in their career where they just, sure, yeah.
Why not?
Like Patrick Stewart playing Poop.
Yeah.
Love
That's
that.
that's pretty fantastic. Especially the ones who, I mean, have had a really storied career. We're talking Patrick Stewart. You're going in the realms of theater and everything, but still don't take themselves so seriously that they can only accept X role, or they can only have some fun with it.
Right.
That's the stuff that endears you.
But I guess there is some controversy to this movie at this point, at some of the content that we're going to get as far as racial violence, which I got to be honest with you, watching the trailer, I don't get. I don't understand where there's any controversy on that.
I don't either.
Something about the hoodie he's wearing and that it's white, and that yeah.
Yeah. I see where people could go with that, and I mean, I watching the trailer, I picked up on a few things, like some white dude or whatever else. Look, you can social justice warrior something to death or in the ground, or be so, I think, on edge of what something could mean, or if I understand walking the tightrope about it, but there's a real skittishness about this when we get into this about film, and I sort of think it's a shame. Part of it says that we haven't taken enough time to really sit down and understand, especially cross culturally, what is it that's actually people really get offended by, or is it something you assume is really violent or bad, or you're saying it's racially charged or whatever else? When a lot of cases, stuff like this, I didn't feel that at all.
No, I didn't catch that at all.
So,
Honestly, what I'm worried about with this movie more than anything, I mean, because it almost feels like it's kind of tongue in cheek. In fact, they make a couple jokes in the trailer and such. But at the same time, you are dealing with a very serious topic. I do wonder how the movie's going to walk this, and I don't think it'll do it poorly, but I don't know if it'll do it correctly. Do you understand what I mean?
right. No, I'm with you.
So, interesting on that. It's coming out. Oh, geez, when is that coming out? Geez, I get the list right here. Do you have it open? That's right. I got it open now.
Yeah.
March 2nd. So
There you
it's
go.
coming up. It's coming out in a couple months. Interested in seeing that. That's going to be a lot of fun, I think. But yeah. Death Wish. Second trailer release. That was a lot of fun. Are you more interested in seeing it now? Because when I brought it up last week, you're just like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of blitzed past it. No, I'm definitely down. Especially as I was mentioning, Bruce Willis is, I think, a great pick for anything that's got that vigilante edge or vibe to it. I'd go check this out. For me, this kind of falls in the same vibe as. Do you remember 16 Blocks years ago when
No.
that came out? It was an action flick. Bruce Willis was a wino drunkard of a cop. He really put his head under the sand to crime and injustice in his own department. And one day he just decided this isn't going to stand anymore. They were about to commit a cover up. And fun movie, real fun. It sort of came up off the radar, kind of like this, just something I blew off. But then I started to look at trailers. I'm like, hey, cool. Then I went and saw it. So I'm probably going to do the same with this. Let's do it.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So let's get into the DC stuff. We get a couple DC parts here. I'll let you do it.
Yeah. Announcement about new leadership for DC films. This was from posted in Variety. There was a report that the producer Walter Hamada, if I got that right, is being bought in by Warner Brothers to be the new head of DC Films. Now, I'm not too familiar with his credits beforehand.
Well, okay, so my initial exposure to this story made it seem like this was some kind of huge, awesome producer that was taking over the reins here. And when I went and checked out his credits, I mean, he's definitely done some great movies, but it was not some super awesome pickup
Right.
for Warner Brothers. Well, anyways, go ahead.
No. Yeah, I think some of his credits were like 47 Ronin. I think I did see that one. It's all right, and it's sorority boys and some random stuff like that I didn't see. But
Yeah.
beyond that though, the WB president and chief content officer made a quote about this. He said, "I'm confident Walter in Jeff Jones, right?
Yeah.
Working with our filmmaking partners, will deliver films that will resonate with both broad global audiences as well as DC fanboys and fangirls."
Oh boy.
Uh,
At face value, I guess that comment's fine, but, but I
but
don't
but
know.
but you in the same hand, you taste that little element of cringe.
Yeah, a little cringe and condescension there, just a little bit. Yeah, I'll let you finish up with the notes on this, and then I'll make my comments on it.
Yeah, apparently Hamada's got a pretty long record of financial success. Some of his major ones from his productions, including The Conjuring, Final Destination. He was also an exec producer on the recent It. How can you not know It? But now he has done flops, like Nightmare on Elm Street and the Friday the 13th reboots.
Yes, which were horrible. Actually, you know what? The Friday the 13th reboot does not. It gets a lot more shit than it should. It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't not the way it's panned.
Yeah. Okay, so here's why I think Warner Brothers wanted this guy in the direction I think this is going to go in. The guy is able to make. He's able to make movies on a lower budget that have been very successful financially. Right. The biggest one to this is The Conjuring.
Right.
Those movies have brought in a lot of money considering the budgets that they had for those movies. So yeah, I'm not trying to take anything away from the guy on that.
Sure.
But he's good with franchises. From what we could see, the Final Destination movies are what they are. But when I start thinking about quality DC comic book movies, I'm not thinking, hey, bring in the guy from the Final Destination series.
No.
This guy's worked almost exclusively in horror, and
right.
when he stepped out of it, and 47 Ronin would be one of them, it did not go well.
Right.
In that being said, his biggest name titles, the Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, have not been received well at all. I think this guy was brought in for Warner Brothers to do what he's done, create much lower budget movies to make them financially successful in an attempt to try to make movies that will make money, as well they should. That should be their number one reason for making movies, as well as it should be. But I worry about this direction. It feels like this guy's going to come in and he's going to hold the wallet.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. And I guess at this point, if you're Warner Brothers, Justice League brought in a lot of money, but it didn't break even.
Right.
And because they spent so much money on it.
Yeah, they did.
And they've spent so much money on all these movies. And they're just, it's like, hey, we are throwing, I think literally at this point, they've probably thrown well over $1 billion at these first 5 DC movies. It's like, look, we're not, depending on the movie, we're in the black or the red all combined with a couple other exceptions. Man of Steel and Man of Steel and Wonder Woman, they're in the green.
Yeah.
They did well.
Yeah.
I think Batman v Superman actually ended up making a little bit of money, but critically, these movies are just nobody.
Yeah, they
Wonder
beat
Woman,
up.
Man of Steel being the exceptions. No one wants them.
Right.
So I guess for Warner Brothers, this is a smart decision to bring somebody in to kind of watch and make sure they're not making $300 or $300 million movies. And I don't know if this is a good idea though. I don't. But then again, hey, you know what? What you did hasn't been working, with the exception of the 2 that we named, Man of Steel and Wonder Woman. The rest have not been accepted well.
No.
But you've got guys like Matt Reeves who wants to make the Batman movie and potentially a trilogy. Yeah, all right. But what Batman I think you can get away with without having a huge budget.
You can. The good thing about that is you can limit the scale and scope real easy depending on how you're basing the story, or what villain you're dealing with, whoever else. We've seen super colorful, kind of goofball setups going all the way back to George Clooney, Alicia Silverstone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Batman Forever. In the same hand, we've seen much like darker palettes with Nolan's Dark Knight and some of the others. So, and that's a cool thing. You don't have to. You're not making a film where you're worrying about Kryptonians zipping around at 300 miles an hour. So.
Yeah, well, now, and that being said, Man of Steel or a Superman movie or a Flash movie, no, you're going to be very CG heavy here.
Right.
You're going to be spending a lot of money on that, and I don't know. At this point, I'm finding the drama and the BS with the DCEU more entertaining than the movies. It's pretty funny. Wonder Woman aside.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right. Let's do it.
Circus continues.
We won't see any changes to this for a couple of years. I mean, Aquaman's the only movie coming out for DCEU this year, which is funny because they just announced some months ago they were thinking about 3 a year.
Yeah, they were.
I don't know where they get this stuff. Because Aquaman, I mean, that's in December.
Right.
Where are the other movies that were going to come out this year?
They just back to the drawing board, man.
Everything's in question, though. I mean, this guy's going to come in. They're going to rework the whole frickin' thing, which is why a few weeks ago when we were, looking at the news that we're going to bring up, did we talk about the new slate of DC movies? Or no, we axed that, didn't we? We cut it.
We cut it.
Yeah, because it's like, who knows? Who really freaking knows?
Is it even worth saying at this point? Yeah.
So, oh boy, it's all the money and talent in the world, and you're getting your butt kicked by a production company who 10 years ago, their first movie was Iron Man on a small budget, and an actor trying to revive his career.
Yep.
And really, you're getting your asses handed to you here. Well, it's done. It's done. They lost. I mean, right? If you're looking at this from a competitive level, which you can't, you can't not. It doesn't mean that you have to pick one side or the other. We don't pick one side or the other. But I mean, when you've got two companies drawing from completely different source material that are the same thing, you have to compare them.
You do. And
it's like, wow, DC really.
And it's always been the great rivalry, man. Even back in comics, and never even a vicious one at that, but always the competitor. And anytime you've ever seen these two side by side, even in the comics, there's always that sense of versus. So
right,
how it goes.
There it is. This is gonna be fun. I'm gonna have fun with that this year. I think even if we're only getting Aquaman at the end of the year, this is gonna be fun to talk about.
Yeah. Another one that might be fun in that stack is there's some news on Wonder Woman 2.
Yes.
This hits director Patty Jenkins. She was given a bit of a heads up about this one. She made a comment that, let's go ahead and take her quote, "We're actually making a totally different film with a lot of the same, similar like things that we love, but it's going to be its own movie completely, so this is not a 2 to us. It's an entirely new adventure together that we couldn't be luckier to do."
I don't know what the hell that means.
That's a lot of artsy fartsy talk for. We're really glad to be working on a sequel. There's gonna be some stuff that's the same and then some new stuff, but it's its own new thing. So don't think it's the old stuff because it's new stuff.
Yeah, I think that's an attempt at departure from, hey, you're not going to see Cyborg and Man of Steel in this. I think maybe that's what they're saying, but I think everyone's kind of expecting that at this point because Wonder Woman is, especially because there's so much controversy around Ben Affleck as Batman.
Right.
I mean, she is the standout now. I would say they both are. But everything I'm hearing is that Ben Affleck's done with whatever spot he's got in the Flash movie, if that even happens anymore. that he's on his way out, which is the shame of all shames as far as this thing goes. But
it is.
And for some reason, no one ever thinks about Man of Steel 2. I'll bitch about that real quick. What are you doing? What do you do? Okay, so anyways, I'll get past that. I'm glad to hear this because hopefully with this, while it doesn't say it directly, the rumors going on about Wonder Woman 2 was that they're going to bring back, what was the love interest name?
For Wonder Woman or for?
Yeah, for Wonder Woman.
That was Steve, wasn't it?
Yeah, that he, there was rumors that they were going to bring him back somehow. There were rumors that it was going to be another, it was going to take place in the 80s.
Yeah, and it's weird because that apparently that was an actual arc in the Wonder Woman comics. Like that happened. He came back. But I don't know much beyond
Yeah,
that. No, leave him alone.
right. And so if she's trying to say in a very general, non-specific way, hey, no, we're doing something completely different, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's do something completely different. That's fine.
And she's got the potential to easily. Like I said, this is a character that I've never really had much investment in at all in a movie that I enjoyed, and I think you've got some really fun source material to pull from. The cool duality about Wonder Woman is, unlike a lot of hero characters, she can freely pull from DC lore and villains, and she can freely pull from classic mythology. And you can make constructs built around that. That's good. This is a character where mentioning Ares or Hera or something alongside isn't weird. It still fits, I think, within her own universe. So there's plenty to do. Cool.
All right.
Well, now here's one that I'm hyped about. You told me about this a little bit before the show. Ridley Scott on the Alien franchise. This was a interview he just did in the Toronto Sun. I made a comment about that there's no reason why Alien should not be on the same level for fans as Star Trek and Star Wars. So I think the next step as to where we do is sustain the Alien series with the evolution of the Beast, or do we reinvent something else? I think you need to have an evolution of the famous Beast because he's the best monster ever, really.
Ridley Scott loves what Ridley Scott does.
Yes, he does.
He thinks very highly of it. I comment in the notes here that, and anybody who is interested in anything that he's done, especially the movie he just came out with now, or movies he's done in the past, he talks a lot. He really runs the gauntlet in this interview. You should check it out. But wow, the Alien franchise is not on the level of Star Wars or Star Trek. It's just not. No. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. I think about that, and it reminds me of the comments that James Cameron was making recently about Wonder Woman, and just it almost feels like a fight to continue to be relevant.
Yeah.
Which neither of them need to be doing.
No, it's relevance in an odd way. Relevance in terms of, who's keeping the most epic, long-running, or episodic, or spanning series when you've got these archetypes, or like these constructs of these movies that really aren't that at their core. Like, look, Alien, does it need to be this sprawling epic with multiple episodes like Star Wars? In fact, that'd be kind of weird to me. It's at its core, it's this chilling, horror survival tale, and you can follow it up in a lot of ways, but it doesn't fit the same print, Star Wars and stuff by any means. So I'm skeptical of that.
What do you think they're going to do here with Aliens? I mean, because look, Covenant was a piece of crap.
Yeah.
It really wasn't a good movie, and that's something that we didn't talk about in our show last week. Was because if we would have talked about our worst movies of the year, that would have been number one on my list.
Yeah,
that was such a disappointing movie. What do you think happens from here on out?
Well, this is a story we're not departing from. That is still going to be told. I mean, we're left wide open at the end of Covenant, going forward. Still, I think the road here, as Ridley Scott's saying, continue to evolve what we have evolved, like xenomorphs and everything else, is to keep fleshing out everything that led to Alien 1. What if these things did evolve more, or if the whole science class experiment was indeed conducted on the ship that we see at the end of Covenant with the samples of both species there. What happened to those? Were there any stops in between? Is there another planet that he decides to stop by and conduct some kind of like large scale test on or whatnot? I think we've got all the material to do so on that ship, and I don't see how we don't, as crazy as Covenant and everything has been, I don't see how we don't follow our characters that we have there. Should I say our character? I mean, we pretty much got a lone android now.
Yeah.
I think things follow him. I think they go after his story.
Well, and yeah, Ridley Scott does say in this interview that he really likes David. He thought he was a great character. He thinks Fassbender is doing a great job with him, it is a good character.
I agree.
I don't think it's as great as he thinks it is.
Right.
I don't like how he left that movie. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got the same vibe about that. As much as I love some of the earlier Alien films, uh, Fassbender kind of comes off the character of David as this almost like Machiavellian, like tyrannical scientist almost. I mean, he's got an agenda of what he wants to do. He's clearly got the map of this in his head, and I think we're gonna keep seeing that play out. But I'm with you. I think it's not necessary to anchor Alien next to one character. Even Ridley, I'm sorry, Ripley. Even with how awesome Ripley is, Ripley was, the series wasn't her per se. I mean, we got some of the best lens of the action from her perspective, and we love following her tale. But ultimately, you could convert that to so many others, and I think still be just as gripping without it having to center around one character, two characters. So, yeah.
I just hope it's whatever they do. I hope it's not as bad as what they just put out.
Yeah, same.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, or breaking lore. I mean, there's a chance right now to keep terraforming and reshaping stuff they've put on the board, and that can be a really bad thing, or at least a somewhat decent thing if they at least clarify what we got on the table here. So
yeah, I'm still pretty upset that the big thing about this new trilogy, this prequel trilogy, was that they were supposed to really show, and that the emphasis was supposed to be on how the xenomorphs get from where they were from Prometheus to where they are in number one in Alien. And the explanation we basically got is summed up as a wizard did it. And that really still ticks me off. He's just like, oh yeah, it's Brian, I think it's David. David's the robot name. And yeah, David was just basically breeding and gene splicing, basically. Yep. And that's how we have what we have. Really? Okay. I didn't need to see a movie to tell me that, especially this pile of crap, but all right. Cool. Well, there it is. There we go. All right. So that's, there's a lot of things disappointing about Covenant, but that was I think the most disappointing part for me was like, oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Trilogy not needed.
Nope. Speaking of Covenant, you just brought me back to a scene with David sitting he had just unleashed a face hugger or at least encouraged somebody to go in a room with one, and the guy's knocked out, and David's just sitting on a ledge just throwing pebbles at his face until he wakes up. I just like that scene.
Oh, that's the scene after the horrible scene where he's standing there with the guy, and the guy's looking right over this alien thing that's opening up. It's like, yeah, you might want to back up.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit. Now I could understand if David was holding his head there,
right? That
would have made a little bit more sense, or just holding him there in general. But yeah, he's like, what? What's the? That's the whole thing, right? That's the problem. One of my biggest problems with the movie is that they're so ridiculously casual about being on an alien planet and walking around in outdoors gear when Prometheus, the movie just before, has established spacesuits, and really cool spacesuits, by the way.
They were.
And these little robots that go out and map the area and the cave and all that. And they're just like, no, we just just grab my snow boots.
Yeah,
we'll just go out there, grab my cigarettes too. I can't go on a strange alien planet without my cigarettes.
Oh, dude, straight up Duluth Trading Company cargo pants, good to go.
Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Better. The bar is low. The bar is low. Do better.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think honestly, if they screw up this next one, I think Aliens might be dead.
It
might be done.
Could be.
I think maybe they were talking about kind of rebooting the series a little bit, and making a new Aliens 3 that happened after the second Aliens that would continue the story of Ripley and I forget his Newt and the guy's name, and they were going to continue that story. They should have done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You better hurry. They're not getting any younger, these people. They're really not. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but I mean at some point it gets a little hard to pass them off.
Yeah.
It was almost too much for a 5-year difference between The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. The actor's name for Gandalf, who clearly looks older in the Hobbit trilogy than he did.
Ian McKellen. Yeah.
Yeah, Ian McKellen, who clearly looked even just a little bit older than he did in the Lord of the Rings.
He did. But
little...
to be fair, I thought that was okay because you had Gandalf the Grey, which I always saw as this world-weary wizard traveler, and later on when he sort of transcends and becomes Gandalf the White, I always sort of imagine, like while reading the books at least, that it's him. It's this, like the same appearance in general, but I always imagine he'd be a little more spritey, maybe look a little more younger.
Fair enough. I guess my point is that it kind of takes you out of the movie a little bit.
True.
Because it's just like, you don't, you look older here. It does. It kind of removes you a little bit. Well, this isn't really a prequel.
Right.
Even though it's supposed to be. I mean, I'm not trying to be nitpicky.
No.
Watching the Hobbit trilogy just kind of took me out of it.
Yeah.
It's like, clearly he's not.
Right.
Clearly this did not happen, even like a long time before. I think something like 50 years before. Because you have a young Hobbit there, and then at the Lord of the Rings, at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, he's clearly a very old Hobbit.
Right.
So so for him to look older is just kind of it just kind of takes you out of it a little bit. In my opinion.
I hear you. Valid. All right. Well, we'll see where it goes. There was something else I think by Ridley Scott that he came out with recently. All the Money in the World.
All the Money in the World, which I hear is really good.
Another one I haven't checked out.
That's the movie that Kevin Spacey was in that they had to do immediate reshoots for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. like a month before the movie was supposed to come out.
Daggone, man.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey, who? That's what the entertainment world's trying to do, which is fine and justified, I think.
Well, if Scott continues to get high on Scott, this could be catastrophic, or maybe this might yield some good fruit.
Yeah, it's not quite the DC entertainment level for trash.
No, it's not. It's not. And he's someone that I'm definitely willing to give some patience. There's so much he's produced that I really, really have enjoyed too. And you know what? Hey, you get a get out of jail free card with freaking Blade Runner. Man.
He talks about Blade Runner a little bit in that interview as well. You should really check it out.
Yeah, cool. All right. On the gaming side of the fence, Mad Catz. So, all right.
Mad Catz.
All right, so I know you've owned some cheap Mad Catz stuff at some point.
Somewhere I've got a bunch of Mad Catz stuff boxed up that I probably should have just thrown out.
Yeah, same here. Anybody who's been on, I think, console gaming or heck even PC for any amount of time, you've likely seen Mad Catz. I've been wondering what happened to them. Honestly, they went bankrupt as of late last year, but they're back from the dead now, kind of at least. The deal was when they went bankrupt, that most of their assets got actually purchased by, it was an unnamed Chinese company, a holding company, and that spun into a holding entity called Mad Catz Global Limited. So it actually turns out that Mad Catz is back in the fold, producing accessories, producing controllers, all those things we knew them for, and they actually have plans to attend CES in Vegas. That's just going to be a little bit later this month. This might be a good appetite pleaser till we get to the real meat, like E3 and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's mainly an exhibitor event. CES is due pretty darn soon, actually. Let me check this real quick. 2 days from now. It's going to be January 8th through the 12th. I'm definitely going to tune in on that, and probably by next week, that's going to be a main part of my some of my news I'm looking into, bringing some stuff from that. So Yeah, Mad Catz gamepads. I know I can think of three off the top of my head that have busted during my PS2 days. I never owned any PC gear though, so I can't speak to those or any of the arcade sticks or fight sticks or anything like that. But it's that mass production model.
For Mad Catz, for me, it was always about, well, hey, I've got this console. I need a second controller for when I have friends over.
Right.
I'll get a Mad Catz controller. And then your friends would come over to play and like, oh, I gotta use the Mad Catz one. He's like, yeah, you're gonna use my official controller. Use that crappy. How do I save my progress? Go ahead and use that. I got a Mad Catz memory card sitting over there by the console somewhere. It works sometimes. You can try to save it.
Oh man, that takes me back.
Memory cards takes me back.
Yeah, man. I mean, I had a couple Mad Catz memory cards. Luckily, they never corrupted on me. The Sony ones busted on me first.
Really? I never had a Sony. PlayStation 1 or 2. I never had a Sony memory card go bad on me.
Wow. I don't know. I guess it's a weird juju, mine, but still, there's a question here on Mad Catz about if they have enough of a hold of the market, I think, to really grab a hold of that and understand exactly what accessories are big for what reasons and why, and give the features that people want. So they've got the means. I mean, they've definitely still got designers, even though they shedded some of their crew and everything. It's still very much there. But it's another question too in a day where we seem to be focusing a lot less on accessories. Maybe that's just me. I mean, I recall during PS1, PS2, even N64 and everything else being way more focused on some of the periphery stuff, the extra things you could pick up, whether we're talking rumble packs or if we're talking extra add-ons, things like that. I just don't hear a whole lot about that stuff today. I mean, there's VR headsets given, and I mean some extras like if you want to pop a keypad on your main controller, like your gamepad or something. But for the most part, it's pretty out of the box. Get the official thing and go today.
Yeah, so I'm on the Mad Catz website right now. Yeah, they make mice pads, keyboards, and it says earphones, headphones, whatever.
Okay.
What are the mouse pads though? I'm gonna look at that real quick.
Yeah, you should. They had in fact,
fair enough. It's your basic mouse pad, but it says Mad Catz on it.
There you go. Now, I do know that they're refocusing on some of their old signature designs. You're talking about mice. There was one called the Rat series of mice. I don't know if you remember that.
I see it right now.
Yeah. That and a few others. So they had their own styling behind stuff, but we'll have to see where they go. I guess I'll be looking to see what happens in PC for these more than the console stuff this time.
I don't think you have a choice. This all looks computer based.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we might get a gamepad or two, maybe for like Xbone or something like that. But
oh, these are actually earphones. All right, well, that's weird. The main page of their website had some headphones on there, but these are earpieces. So I guess you could maybe use those for consoles. But yeah, their days of making controllers are done. Yeah. Which it has been for a long time. That's we were talking about that a little bit before the show. That's always upset me ever since the PS3 days and that generation of consoles. Yeah. The technology for these controllers is it's patented. It's patented by these companies. So no more making generic controllers, which is a shame.
It is.
Because I had to fork out $60 for a second controller from my PS4, which I was not happy about.
That's the thing. Controllers will make you bite a bullet these days. It's a pretty penny. I mean, heck, you're talking that. I mean, just go a little higher and you'll have an arcade stick. So, shoot. But speaking of pricing too, I think that's one thing that they do well to sort of steer from. I know in the past, swinging for the fences with like the $300 keyboard setups and all that stuff was a focal point, but those don't. That's not always the main market or the main thing people are after or searching for. So if you kind of curb and curtail prices instead of going to huge extravagant issue, I mean, if people want to do that, I guess go towards Corsair and stuff anyway. But Yeah, I think just get solid products out there. It's a brand that everybody still remembers, and good design. They got a future.
These the mouses that I'm looking at. When it comes to the hardware, yeah, the hardware, can you use mice or is it mouse and mouses?
I say plural, and I usually say mice.
These okay, well these mice, they're weird looking. They look like freaking Michael Bay Transformers. They really, I don't, what was that?
I really, really tried to make a Transformer sound effect.
That that was, don't ever do that again.
Okay.
That was bad. These things are ridiculous looking, though.
Yeah.
I suppose, I suppose some audience are like, oh man, they're so cool. And I guess if they play well, which I'm not looking at all, if they get the job done, I mean, this clearly is not for your office at work. These are for gaming, but they look like freaking Transformers. They're crazy looking. I guess if the price is good, like you say, maybe I'll get one and try it out.
Yeah.
The thing for me though, and I have to be careful about this. I'm left-handed, and a lot of these mice are not made for left-handers. They just, the way that the buttons are configured and the setup, they just don't work like that. Like some of these I'm looking at, I just could not use it. My hand would be hitting buttons that it shouldn't be because it's supposed to be on the other hand.
Right.
And it's so, that's why I always stick with a basic mouse, which I enjoy. I don't even use wireless tech either. You can get a little bit of a delay. So like the new gaming controller I just got for my computer, I specifically asked Santa for one that plugs in. I don't need that happening.
I can't blame you. For the few apps that I do have, or the few games I have that use controllers still, I'm always sure to have a wired. In fact, I got right next to me here a Xbox One wired controller because I really tried wireless or like syncing or some of the pseudo do the charge cord through, but that bit me in the butt. And raiding on FF14 and cutting out in the middle of a major boss mechanic, yeah, not cool.
No, you don't need that happening.
No.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I got bronchitis. Get that.
So, all right, way to go, Mad Cats. Way to lose everything, and I guess still have something. I don't know. I'm trying to turn that frown upside down. I don't know. Your stuff looks weird.
Well,
all right.
If Mad Cats looks weird, Justice looks awesome. As it has for a long time.
You know what? I'm mad at you.
How come?
Okay, so yeah.
Or should I say what's new?
When did you know about this this pack? When did you know that this was coming out? When, in November?
Yeah.
You did, and you never said anything.
Late November. Yeah, and I didn't. Well, like I said, I can kind of hit myself in the head here because I remember being super hyped when I saw like the Turtles trailer announced. I was like, holy crap! And I just didn't talk about it in the show for some reason.
Well, you never told me either.
No, I didn't.
Tell me, freaking Ninja Turtles. Who cares? Well, Enchantress. Who cares?
Yeah, but Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles in just a few days coming out.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty awesome. There is this new character pack that's on its way, January 9th. There have been some release trailers already. In fact, this week the gameplay trailer for Enchantress was out. Kind of slower, slower character, more for zoning, controlling range, things like that. I don't have full specs. I mean, I haven't gotten hands on with this one, but
it's
come
all right.
on.
Nobody cares.
When you got the Turtles,
right?
Does much else matter?
This is the Ninja Turtles expansion pack. I don't care what it is.
Really cool too because the aesthetic here is the '90s Turtles.
Yes, it's so awesome. That was so cool.
Yeah, and that's still how I've immortalized all of them. Like they just sort of froze in that snapshot for me. Like back the days like Secret of the Ooze and all that. Man.
See, now for me, I still think about the cartoon. If I have to pick a definitive look for the Ninja Turtles, which I prefer the live action version that you're talking about more, but I think for me, just because I watched the cartoon so much, it's the cartoon.
Yeah,
The original cartoon, by the way, not which the newer ones are fine,
Right.
but the original cartoon is just the default for me.
With Technodromes, Bebops, and Rocksteadies.
Oh my gosh! Shut up. With that and Elizabeth Shue and Death Wish, I'm back in the 80s right now.
Yep.
What's old is new.
Oh man, pretty much. I'm actually really geared up to see players actually picking them up and running them, especially in events. Now, Injustice is one of the few fighters that I'm not personally into, that I don't play online or anything, but I love watching this each year for either Evo or Combo Breaker or whatever events that I can catch streaming, because it's just awesome to see in action. And the one thing I really dig about Injustice is, you've got the basics that you run into with fighting games about just the way different characters are built or like some of their specialties, but everyone is so unique to the T that you can really take something general, or what you see as a general strat, and really curve it towards you. And I know that sounds pretty generic thing, but that comes together in a special way for Injustice. So if you've never tuned in, if you've never watched anything about this, I highly encourage you, check out the Evo stream when the Evo tournament drops this year. Also, if you're subscribed to the either Evo SRK, the Capcom Fighters channel, they usually do Capcom Cup, stuff like that. Sometimes they have other streams. Usually it's just for SF and whatnot. But dig on Twitch for some footage of this, and you're not going to be disappointed. It's always really cool to see this in an event.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how these guys play. That's obviously the big question is, how are the Ninja Turtles going to play? How does this work out? It is kind of shocking. This is going to, apparently this came out in November, Ian, the announcement for this, and here we are a few days away, and there's no gameplay trailer or anything for them. There's no gameplay footage of them. That is impressive. They had to test them somehow, so I'm a little surprised there's nothing. We found nothing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a blank zone. We've got some things for the other characters. Really, the major hype here has been of course the reveal trailer, and then a lot of talk about the potential play styles, potential ways to make use of. But this is something that I would have expected to really, really see a lot of in-depth analysis on. I even look at one of the other fighters about to come out for Dragon Ball. They've gone crazy with how in-depth that's gotten. Like every character that comes out, and I think it's because the open beta has been so broad with that. We have a major introspective into how everybody plays. Like, what's their moveset like? And just not seeing that for Injustice. So, what you gonna do?
I'm going to wait, and when the 9th comes around, at the end of the day, I'm going to look for some gameplay trailers.
There you go. Or you can go find Casey Jones. So.
Oh my gosh, you'll never see him around. That's kind of a shame. That'd be fun, though.
All right. Deal. Lastly, spinning up in the edge of the list here is Nintendo Switch. There's been some leaks, some rumors. Although we've talked about Switch, there have been a lot of rumors beforehand. But anyway, the big one here for this week on the Switch is that there's the new Pokemon RPG leak pointing to some large happenings in 2018. Now, this has been talked about for a while. And the last time I remember talking about Pokemon in the vein of an RPG was back in the day, Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Chris, did you have either one of those for Game Boy?
No.
Neither one.
No.
Never bothered.
I have never played Pokemon. I have never owned a Pokemon anything. I've never played with the cards. I've never played any of their games. No. Pokemon is there's a void zone here for Pokemon. I have no interest in your silly little creatures doing their silly little things. And hey, you like Pokemon? Go do your Pokemon, but leave me out of your Pokemon stuff. So that being said, tell us all about Pokemon, and I will sit here quietly.
We don't have a whole lot on this one yet, except for this leak. This was first in connection with the sort of maybe-ish release date, and the latest thing is more to do with the branding here. So the deal is that there's been new trademarks that have been found that apparently point back to Nintendo and Game Freak, calling the next Pokemon games that are coming out. These RPGs we're looking at Pokemon 1 and Pokemon 0. The listings, they also came with a new art design, but it's kind of doubtful we're actually going to see that in the last game. So just when this is a thing we always point back to, when we start talking about trademarking and branding and different signs you see before a launch. I remember back when Marvel vs. Capcom, quote unquote 4, was in the wings, and which turned out to be in Marvel v. Capcom, Infinity, of course, but there was that false logo that everyone went crazy about in terms of branding. It had Marvel vs. Capcom, and then the 4, the internet went crazy, went on Twitter, everybody speculated about it, and at the end of the day, that branding or that picture we saw wasn't actually the real deal. So, but the game existed though. The project was still active and still happening, so none of that was off. So I'm a little more focused on, I guess, the game element of this and less on the art and different things like that we see. That's periphery. You'll get whatever that is when you actually see the game itself. But this, along with another big rumor, which is Metroid Prime 4, huge,
now you got my attention.
Huge projects. In fact, there's been a note that reportedly, at least, that there's going to be a Metroid Prime 4 trailer with gameplay footage on the way to be debuted this year, perhaps even early this year. So keep a hook for it. And in addition to that leak, where that news had come out, there was a report that EA email said Nintendo Direct is coming in January 2018, so sometime this month. So I doubt we're going to see much at the upcoming Vegas convention here this week about this specifically, but I'm definitely expecting to hear some stuff from Switch. Nintendo have had a lot of success here. They're not ramping down, and I think they are completely primed to capitalize on the stuff that has skyrocketed them. Metroid, Star Fox, all of that. So,
well, yeah, it's what I say earlier. What's old is new.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
what's Nintendo Direct?
Nintendo Direct is a service, and when I heard about that, I used to think that it was going to be just, I don't know, some weird Netflix model or something like that. But now Nintendo have kept this in the wings for a long time. People, in fact, I think everyone's expecting. I was saying January earlier. I think we're looking at January 11th ish for maybe the next time we'll hear about this. But yeah, I think this requires me to kind of jump back at some of the speculation for this. I'm kind of glad you asked. This is part of my article. All this stuff kicked off way back when there was a Reddit user was asking about the Nintendo Direct presentation like last November. And then they said that they delved into a document that was detailing EA's early 2018 plans. So this Reddit user uploaded an image that looked like a discussion of EA's marketing strategy for FE. It's like this adventure game, but that title also included a timeline that mentioned an upcoming Nintendo Direct happening in 2018 down the road. So it's something that's mired in Nintendo's typical controversy. You know how paranoid they get about announcing things early, or maybe we'll do it, or maybe we won't, or maybe it's a thing and maybe it's not. In fact, if you're curious, I'm going to give you a video here while I talk to give you an idea.
All right.
Let me pass this link to you, and I'm going to keep going.
I'll go down the rabbit hole of the Nintendo hype machine for a little bit here.
Go for it. So...
Oh, sorry, I was going to do a little humming while we're waiting for you to link.
No, I think it should have come through.
I got nothing.
Nothing yet? No. Weird. It's I got it posted as 5:36 p.m. Maybe it'll just come through late.
I don't know.
But
kind of like the news for Ninja Turtles. It's going to come real late.
in any case, this is not the basic behind Direct. It's not a additional console or anything like that. This is basically like a new service.
Is this their gaming service that's going to give you access to playing games online and stuff?
Wink, 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 nudge, nudge, nudge.
We talked about this, I think, before. I don't know what you're winking and nudging about. Yeah, whatever. I'm not a Nintendo fanboy yet. I refuse to let my inner Nintendo fanboy do anything until he can get excited about getting his hands on an NES Mini. Until that time, he's in a cage, and that's where he stays.
Yeah. Fair
Because
enough.
the Switch doesn't do anything for me. The new Zelda doesn't do anything for me. The new Mario doesn't do anything for me yet. So my inner Nintendo fan wants to play some nostalgia stuff,
Well,
and he wants to play it on a console that's 1/10 the size that it used to be.
well, I know Pokemon won't do anything for you, but
No.
look out for what Metroid does, because that's not it's the official dates and everything. Those some of that's still rumored, but that is a thing. That is an actual project. We are going to see that at some point. So
Yeah, no, I nothing but respect for Metroid. That's for sure. The original games in Super Metroid, I never did finish them. But when the original Metroid came out, I was
gosh.
like 6 or 7. So I thought that game was absolutely awesome. But I was like, I can't handle this. I'm a kid.
Yeah, never mind. This is too nervous.
Yeah, well, I gotta go. I'm watching my brother play. I'm like, this is all the stuff I would have had to have done to beat this game. Screw that.
Tell you what, if you gave me Guff for Last of Us, I will give you Guff for Super Metroid. You must finish that game. That is one of the best games ever made, hands down. And it's brilliant because you can sit there and play that for 20 plus hours, running around doing unlocks and just taking your time exploring the world, or just blaze through, just get the best ending. That game was fantastic.
Hey, I would love to play Super Metroid if I can get my hands on a SNES Mini. I'd play it.
Cool. But well
Okay, so
worth
this
it.
Nintendo Direct thing's up for me here, so I'm gonna watch this real quick.
No, there you go. And the really this is just for honestly, headliners and major, breaking things for Nintendo and stuff like that. It's this is something that's really on the side, like periphery to Switch, and then it's games. So not that huge a deal. I mean, I guess it's all right to have a whole product stream going, like to give keep people updated on dates, releases, and all that. But yeah, to me, that's something I can just go on and just check out IGN or something else. So I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not super amped up.
Yeah, I'm not. This is doing nothing for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there it is. That's a thing.
Done deal.
I'm not really even sure what the heck they were selling there. The question or the answer to my question, what's Nintendo Direct, has barely been answered.
New service. That's all I got for you.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Nintendo.
You do your thing. We'll do ours.
Yeah.
And in that case, right now, that's an info minute. Today's info minute. All right. You're pretty familiar with the Doge meme, right?
No, see, now for our notes, I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes. He's got Ian's info minute, and it has, is that how that's pronounced? Dogecoin?
Doge, yep.
What is a Doge?
All right. So, Doge is this super adorable dog that is, you will see this tied to, man, almost everything. Like, wow, much coin. Very cute. Wow. Here, let me give you a link. Because if I show this to you, I'm sure you've actually seen it before.
I'm already on this. All right, I'm looking. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy. This
there
guy's
you go.
Funny.
This was some kind of nutty news. It's something that was just meant to really just be a spoof. Is actually blown up to an unbelievable degree. Unless you've been under a rock, I'm sure you've heard about the Bitcoin boom lately, and of course that ties into cryptocurrency and the technology behind it. Blockchain. There was a sort of really a meme is the best way I can describe it. It's a parody coin named after the internet meme called Dogecoin, featuring the Shiba Inu dog. This has really been kind of the whole meme has been forgotten since like roughly 2014. But this just parody coin ended up capping market hit 1 billion. And really the creator wasn't too pleased about this, if anything, because of where this started. So here's the deal. The current people working on Dogecoin are equally surprised by, I think, how fast this has taken off, because they really didn't expect it to be much of anything. In fact, one of their developers, I think it was like Max Keller, he made a quote. "It's a little scary when you work on software that powers a billion-dollar network. This is quite the responsibility, and also one of the main reasons why we are so reluctant just to slap any innovative tech into the reference client." Still, I'm proud of what we achieved and thankful to be part of such a great community. And then according from the coin market cap, the price of a Dogecoin started to climb around May 2017. After years of stagnation, the technology development ended up going to this whole tongue-in-cheek name, and then all the developers themselves were volunteers and, well, just contributed to this in their spare time. And now it's actually hit a boom.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm seeing the chart on this right now. Holy crap.
Yeah. So this is Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, all of it. This is a story we're going to continue to hear in 2018 and beyond. This is something that doesn't end with just Bitcoin and how volatile all that's been, but the tech behind it, even when you spoof it, it seems to be producing gold right now. So it's the Midas touch, but the question is for how long? And heck, if internet memes can do it, plenty of other things can.
Yeah, this did. It looks like at the beginning of each year it went up, but then, or every half year I should say, but then it spiked, but then it would go back down, and then it would spike. This is a little bit beyond me. I guess the only thing I could say is, that's a pretty popular meme. I'm a little surprised you didn't realize how popular this was going to be. Everybody loves that dog. That dog's hilarious.
Yeah. So
Dogecoin.
It'll be what it will be.
Yeah. All right. Interesting.
All right. That's going to do it for us for now. But as always, we're going to be back in town next week with more news, more developments, and of course, looking forward to.
Wait. Did you just say we're going to be in town?
Yeah, we're going to be back in town. Like, as in,
All right.
like, sitting. Yeah, wherever you're listening from, we'll be there.
Come on down to the Costco Convention Center. We'll be there from 1 to 5. We'll sign whatever you want. $5 a person.
See, cheap entry. You'd be
Brought to
really
you by Bass Pro Shop.
There you go. Hey, and we got a Bass Pro here. That's no joke. In fact, the biggest one in the nation.
Do you really?
Yeah. The Memphis Bass Pro. It's no joke.
I've never been to an actual Bass Pro Shop. I love that. That's so great. Of course, that goes back to an inside joke that goes back years for us. So, yeah. The Bass Pro Shop. Sunday.
All right. Oh man. Well, I can't end any better than a Bass Pro. Thank you all for listening. Of course, we'll catch you after the jump, and we'll see you soon. Tune back in.
See you later, everybody.
Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, if there's anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but it'd be great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find, maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening, and we hope to hear from you again later. Take care.